We are live. Wrestle Purist King and Queen of the Ring preview and predictions. Myself and Ibu of Wrestle Purist, better known as Backup Hangman to some of you guys, are in the booth to do this preview. And King and Queen of the Ring tournament finals have just been decided live in Saudi Arabia on SmackDown. We'll probably leave the previews of those finals kind of later on in the show, just in case. It's still freshly just done. I don't think there's a legal way you could have watched SmackDown if you're in the United States. Is that right?
No, if you wanted to watch SmackDown, you had to go on certain websites and just click live and hope for the best. And you're treated to a broadcast version of SmackDown that does not have 3.5-minute Fox commercials.
Yeah, exactly. So so on SmackDown that just happened live in Saudi Arabia, we had the men's King of the Ring semi-final, and of course the Queen of the Ring semi-final to decide who's going to go on to the final of both tournaments tomorrow at King and Queen of the Ring, which we are going to preview and predict. There was another match added to the show on SmackDown as well, so we'll save that one as well. But even Saudi Arabia shows the crowd today at SmackDown seemed pretty good. But of course, always going to be certain levels of controversy around these shows. But WWE seem to be going with these short match cards these days. Seems to be an ongoing trend, doesn't it?
Yeah, Paul Levesque is a 5-match card pervert, and I'll say this one on paper looks better than Backlash did, and Backlash ended up being a good show. That show looked awful on paper, and it ended up being really fun. And France was a big part of that one. And I don't think Saudi will be quite as good as France. And we're probably gonna have to deal with time wasting shit like that Ibrahim Al Hajjaj guy who always is on these fucking shows.
Get a celebrity in. He's so over as well. It does pop me a little bit, as long as it don't take up too much time.
I can't, like, if they do some
little 5 minutes.
Thing is, if that show goes on and it's like impromptu fucking Grayson Waller effect, it's gonna be like, oh fuck me. But like, oh come on, man. But and I was glad we were spared that in France. I didn't have to deal with Grayson Waller effect. Didn't have to see Miss TV. Didn't have to see John Cena, attitude adjustment being a celebrity or something. But yeah, 5-match card. This one looks much better than the Backlash one. There's 3 matches that I'm into. 3. And I think the whole show could be pretty good, actually. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll watch it. I'll watch it live before I go to work tomorrow. The Wrestle Purist
very rare occasion you're able to do that, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because it's
start times, man. These start
times.
Do you like them more?
What's up?
Do you like them? Because obviously you're in the US, so you're kind of more of the demo. It affects more when it comes to wrestling fans. For us in the UK, it's beautiful. It's 8 p.m. I've just watched SmackDown.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. The afternoon is chill and the nighttime is chill for me. I don't like early morning shows. Like when they start, sometimes, like for example, Australia was ridiculous. That started at like 6 in the morning for American fans or something, or 5 in the morning. That's ridiculous. I'm not gonna watch that live. Are you kidding me? But this starts at 1 p.m. my time. It's gonna go from 1 to about 4 o'clock. That's very reasonable. And then I'll be able to make some food real quick and then head to work. That's pretty good. So good deal. Yeah, I'm cool with the start time. I was gonna say the Wrestle Purist injury bug is starting to get everybody because I can feel it coming, Monty. I am getting pretty freaking sick.
Crippling the industry, bro. First it was WWE and AEW. Now it's somehow spread to Wrestle Purist. It's like, bro, I had to pull the Dynamite review last night, bro.
I saw that. I saw that and I was like, I know that pissed off Monty. Man. I know Monty's fucking. I was like, Monty's like Monty's Vince McMahon. Show must go on. That's him,
Well, hold on. Chill out. That's not a comparison to make in 2024.
I was like, Monty will sit there and do that shit by himself if he has to. I'm surprised he did that, but yeah, man, injury bug is getting everybody. Everybody's either busy or fucked or injured, or spiritually broken. So yeah, but I should be fine for today. Hopefully it doesn't get any worse. But I got about an hour here to do this before I got to get ready for work.
Yeah, man. But yeah, the injury bug is still running wild outside of Wrestle Purist, WWE and AEW. There's been a few injury updates this week, but the main thing we are going to do today is preview, predict WWE King and Queen of the Ring show. But first things first, please like, subscribe, send any super chats with any of your predictions, any of your takes on the build up to the show, or any of the matches, or anything like that, or any kind of related topics that you want us to get into. Like I said, we've got just under an hour left, just to kind of, we're gonna, like I said,
we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Yeah,
also, I mean, if it isn't already made obvious, guys, if you don't want spoilers on who won their respective King and Queen of the Ring semifinal matches, I don't know if this is the place to be when we get to those matches.
we'll save those till last.
I guess so.
Yeah, we'll front load it, man. We'll start with Cody and Logan. Right. We'll start with Cody. That's so. But first things first, you know what? We got a couple super chats, so we'll take the quick opportunity to get through them. Desires 199, appreciate you. Julia about to get a godly push.
By all accounts, that's the plan.
Bro. Marigold, WWE.
She's going to be holding Marigold's world title at the same time as holding the NXT Women's Championship, probably.
Yeah, that was your big prediction from was it Monday? No,
I don't know. I don't know what
something like that, But yeah, there's been a couple of reports surrounding Julia the past couple of days. Of course, there was quite a lot of talk of her potentially making a first WWE appearance at NXT Heatwave in Toronto, which is very soon. But of course, she did pick up a wrist injury in the first ever Marigold show, which was only the other day in a great main event match.
I finally watched that, Monty. I finally checked that out. Bro. It was great, and even beyond the match quality being great, the presentation of everything before the match was the package, but after the match with like the promo and then like the flowers coming in and the singing and the music, it was so well done.
That crew knows how to put together a show.
Yeah, that was a show, man. The presentation of that was crazy.
So yeah, man, really successful first show for Marigold. Other than the fact that Julia picked up a wrist injury, she's going to be. I think she's off the next Marigold show, but she's going to try and make the big show that they're doing in July, I believe. So that WWE, of course, still hopeful she can make NXT Heatwave. But I know, man, Dave Meltzer reported earlier in the newsletter that according to people in Japan and people that know Julia, that timetable's a bit too soon, even before the injury got out. So who knows? I guess Fightful kind of followed up on it and said that date is a target. It's not like set in stone or anything. And of course, they don't want to kind of, they want to let Julia do her Marigold dates and not kind of like ruin that for her. So it seems to be like a lot of cooperation with WWE and Marigold. So the conspiracy theory. So they're running with a lot at the moment as far as Rossy Ogawa and WWE's relationship, aren't they?
Yeah, it looks like they're on the same page when it comes to how she's going to be used in her schedule and when she's available for what. It looks like WWE, at least for right now, does not want to step on the dick of a burgeoning associate that they have here in this promotion. So we'll see how long that lasts. We'll see how long they'll allow her to do both NXT and Marigold. I think if she can just do that regularly for her whole NXT run at the very least, I think that'd be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool because let's say presumably Julia gets going in NXT in the summer, and the idea is for her to stay there until, let's say, Mania weekend, right? That's it's about 8 months, right? 8 months is enough time for Rossy to plan out a roadmap on how to use Julia and then transition her out of the promotion to then put over someone else big. You know what I mean? 8 months is more than enough time to just set up a path. Yeah, to do big matches and then also like cut it off essentially. So I think that's the ideal way to go there.
Yeah. Jarvie 499, appreciate you. Can we talk about how the women's tag titles is the reason why the division sucks? Those 2 weeks of good singles and non-women tags were great.
I talked about this on the Raw review, but the level of wrestling on the Raw women's division went up dramatically post draft, and they switched around some pieces for sure, but you got these kind of focused singles matches, and usually like the women's mid card of SmackDown is what would struggle. Usually you'd get like this awful hour 2 tag match or something, right, or early hour 3 tag match, and that got replaced by like a nice little Ivy Nile singles match or a nice little Zoe Stark singles match, right? But now This week they did that 4-way women's tag, which honestly I didn't even think that was that bad. But Rob made a fair point where he just said, "How are you supposed to care?" And the real answer is like it's impossible, right? So yeah, like the women's tag division is just kind of cooked. Like it's just impossible to care. And it kind of doesn't really matter who is in the division unless you want to do a thing where like Bianca and Jade are holding the belts, right? And that's cool. They're stars. That's awesome, right? But unless they have like heel opposition that's also 2 stars paired together, they're just gonna run through like jobber adjacent women teams. They added a match on this card on the pre-show where they're gonna defend their belts, and it's like, why should I give a shit? But yeah.
Yeah, it's tough because it's like, okay, Jade and Bianca are the champs at the moment, and that's a nice, that's a nice pair of champs there, But like you said, the opponents is unless you're gonna like really, really put like a strong effort into building up other tag teams in the women's division, they're just gonna have to put 2 other big stars together, otherwise they're just gonna, run through the division. Hush 199, appreciate it. Does HBK know who Sexy Red is? Had me in tears. Well, he's about to find out.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. We're looking at another LeVar Ball on Monday Night Raw moment.
The pick.
Yeah,
the pick's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. I think this is a case of a famous person was referencing WWE and shouting out Sean. Sean's like, "Oh, okay, invited to NXT." He did the same thing with Kendrick Lamar and Drake, where Kendrick mentions it says Sweet Chin Music, and he's like, "Oh, I'll mediate this beef." Like clearly there are people in the PC who are like, "Yo, Sean, they shouted you out," and he's like, "Oh, cool," and fucking he tweets about it. He has no damn. You think he's listening to any of Sexy Red? Probably
Sexy
not.
Red. Sexy Red is crazy. Like Kendrick and Drake's one thing, but Sexy Red is like unhinged.
What I want to know is, I want to see his reaction when someone in the PC is playing Sexy Red's music to show him who she is, and the face he makes when he listens to said music.
I was actually kind of surprised by it. Like I thought it was going to be one of those things that they just kept to social media because, like, let's be honest, Sexy Red isn't exactly PG,
No.
So I was kind of surprised by that sense, but they're going for it. They're going for it.
They are.
I wonder what she's actually going to do. Like, is she
I
just
don't know. I will not be tapped in. She's probably going to interact.
I'm going to be locked in.
I will not. That's probably going to be really embarrassing. But she's that's like one of those like secondhand embarrassment segments. You know what I mean? Like I can't watch that. And it's gonna make
it could be real though. We got Trick Williams.
Probably. She's gonna interact with Trick Williams and maybe Lash Legend, and that's gonna set black people back.
The real has returned.
Yeah.
Hodge 199, appreciate you again. That Meltzer to AEW stuff legit, or is he just talking? What AEW stuff? Just
what is he talking about?
I guess kind of like the quote, because he did like a long kind of like
he did.
summer. He did like a very long kind of slow news week, brother.
I opened up the Observer newsletter. I was like, what is this?
It's like a long summary. It's like a long summary of like the first 5 years of AEW, and he talked about everything, bro. So like when he's talking about like the locker room perception, like one of the noteworthy things he said was like, I'll pull up the actual quote because it won't take me too long. It'll take me about 10 seconds. The actual quote is, AEW went from the fun place to work with the great backstage camaraderie when WWE, for the most part, were walking on eggshells to a place with a lot of frustration from wrestlers making nice and even great living, but not getting anywhere near the ring time nor upward mobility hoped for. So that quote and variations of it that have been aggregated is kind of like been a lot of the discourse today. So basically, kind of, I guess the question is that legit? Of course, some talent are frustrated. Every talent wants to be on TV more, and I think it's not hard to tell looking at AEW that like sometimes they do struggle with getting everyone who the fans want to see and who wants to be on TV as much as they'd like to. It's a tough balance, even with the extra hours TV. From my perspective, purely kind of just a subjective opinion as a fan, that's why I get so frustrated when like Collision and Rampage are just not that productive, because they've got like you can't. I don't think AEW can use the excuse anymore of like we only have this amount of TV time. They have loads of TV time now. They have 5 hours at the moment, So it's 5 hours and Ring of Honor, like so. It's they've got plenty of TV time, so it's just that roster. That roster is it's a stacked roster. River. It's tough, isn't it, to find a balance?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Look, man, at the end of the day, they've assembled a roster that's probably too big for its own good. And when that happens in pro wrestling, you're going to have a lot of mouths to feed, and many of the mouths are going to be underfed, and they're going to feel like they deserve more than they're getting. And that's just kind of the inevitability of wrestling. That it's like this in WWE as well. But I mean, there's obviously conversations to be had in AEW about maybe being a bit more productive with the TV time to kind of get more people in the mix for sure. But there's also something to be said about just kind of like having core characters that you feature and getting them over, and that being your core group of people rather than just a carousel of individuals that aren't getting consistency because it's like you're trying to spread the wealth completely evenly. So the real solution to this, to be honest with you, is to trim down that roster. But then that would seem like I'm advocating for people to get fired, which I'm not. So, like, because when I look at this, that's really my like point blank, Monty. I'm like, they just need a smaller roster. I don't give a fuck who you pick. You just need a smaller roster. But it just, bro, like,
I'm not my big thing is I need to see. Before I could like agree with that take, I would need to see them actually do like a proper split roster. To be honest,
I mean, sure, yeah, you can give that.
I think split rosters as well, business wise, they just make more sense because like you look at AEW now going into their TV negotiations. Of course, at the moment they're still in the exclusive period with Warner Brothers Discovery, so they can't negotiate elsewhere. But if you're selling AEW as an entity, the main thing the networks are looking at is Dynamite. They're just looking at Dynamite because Dynamite is so blatantly their main show and their focus. Obviously it does the biggest numbers as well, but it's not like you can say like our Collision's on its way, or anything like that. Whereas like say WWE, of course, obviously a completely different context because they've been around long and they've got better relationships, etc., etc., etc. But like they're selling their shows. I know it was kind of like a Nick Khan move to like make it more aggressive in that sense, but like they're fully selling their shows now as separate entities. Like Raw, SmackDown, NXT are all getting big money deals, and it's like AEW could easily take that model in the sense of doing Dynamite and Collision, at least with a Dynamite and Collision, maybe not so much Rampage, but it's just an hour, and like, make them distinctively different shows that are the most important show in their own world, if that makes sense. Do a proper split roster, commit to it.
it's
You can
worth
kind
a
of
try.
balance the roster better, There's a lot of positives that I think could come of it, but
Yeah, for sure. Listen, like I said, it's worth a try in the sense that they haven't attempted it, so you might as well to see what happens. But I just it doesn't appear to be coming anytime soon, so I don't feel like wasting my breath. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, like, yeah, they could try that, but clearly that's just not their model. It's not what they want to do. They're very clearly set in their way of producing and using the TV time that they have, and we'll see how that changes when they get the next TV deal. Because when they get the next TV deal, inherently there's going to be some changes because I'd imagine the hours will be rearranged, and so when that time comes and WBD, likely WBD, has new demands or asks out of them, we'll see what they do now with the new responsibilities. But until then, this is just what they're gonna do with their TV time. So it's genuinely like a wasted exercise of breath and words to even like to me even break down like maybe they should try this or try that, because we could say that until the cows come home, but that's just frankly not what they're going to do.
Like you said, we'll see where the pieces fall after the TV deal gets sorted, announced, because you'd assume that's going to be at some point in the next few months, So we'll see. We'll see what the landscape's looking like then. Andy, 100 rupees, appreciate you as always. Quite like the Cody Paul promos. Nice story of vet versus cocky celeb. Alpha Academy story has been handled really well too. Love the Otis and Sammy parallel.
Yeah, I'll get into my extended opinions on the Alpha Academy stuff, but I think that story's been well plotted out. It's actually quite good in the sense that like very clearly there's like chapters and phases that they're going through right now, and we have not even gotten to like the rising action with Chad Gable and his transition. We're still in the middle of the transition period, but I've liked a lot of the developments there, and I think some of them are going to come into play on the pay-per-view. Regarding Logan Paul and Cody, yeah, the build's been pretty good. Build's been pretty good.
Yeah, man. Jarvie, 199. Ibu, anything on Megan Bain?
Got none. I asked if she was still in AEW about a month ago, and I was told yes, but it's very weird. So I don't know what's going on.
Weirdly quiet.
Yeah,
Weird. It's weirdly quiet, and I think it's led to kind of depending on like what circles you're in, kind of, and how tapped in you are. It's like when it goes weirdly quiet, like weird rumors start to pop up. So it's like, um, but yeah, it's just I guess that's just the best thing you can say, and it's just weirdly quiet at the moment. So who knows, man? Who knows? A lot, but like Jarvis, there's a lot of people that do want to see her on AEW or Marigold or Stardom or wherever they want to see her. So yeah. All right, let's get into this. And like I said, we're going to start with Cody Rhodes defending his world title versus Logan Paul. A lot of people thought to start off with that this was going to be a title versus title match, and it was, I guess, in kayfabe originally planned to be. But Logan Paul got his lawyers involved, and he rewrote the contract, and now it is just for Cody's belt. And yeah, man, it's only been like a couple of weeks of the feud. I think it was kind of a pretty nice little decision to give Logan Paul this title shot and this feud with Cody as kind of like a very short-lived kind of thing to lead up to this Saudi pay-per-view coming out of Backlash. And yeah, no, I think the segments have been okay. I don't think anything's been crazy amazing. I don't think anything's been terrible. I think it's just kind of ticked along nicely. What have you made of the build?
it's very Cody Rhodes. It's very Cody Rhodes. It's very like when I think of like Cody's personal creative touch, and I think of his fingerprints. I think of his time in AEW, and especially once he started getting the TNT Championship and a lot of the pandemic stuff, and even the QT feud. Cody, because Cody's fingerprints basically are he it you know he leans towards being Sting, right? 90 like early 90s Sting, but
Yeah.
then he also has proclivities. A proclivity to just kind of do things that harken back to like Jim Crockett promotions, but then he also likes doing the like kind of irreverent, quirky, uh, kind of like weird sports entertainment freak show stuff. We saw it with Shaq and the Jade Cargill. We saw it with him facing a boxer in Anthony Agogo. He kind of has that flair to his stuff as well. Look at the Cody verse, and it just makes for a really distinct mix. I think like there's certain things that he does. I'm like that's so Cody, and Cody Rhodes going to Saudi Arabia to fight Logan Paul, the YouTuber, is very Cody Rhodes, and I think it's also fitting of a Saudi show. It's not something I would have done on like a major pay-per-view personally, but for a Saudi show where you have a 3-week build, yeah, go for it. Go for it. Have him face Logan Paul. Have fun with it. The problematic aspect of this is that yes, he is the United States champion, and I think it dilutes the moment where Logan Paul gets dethroned by presumably an LA Knight to have him job to Cody here. But that notwithstanding, I do like the matchup, and I think the best version of this is quite fun. There's a version of this that's just kind of all right, and you never know because I think Logan Paul's output over the last year has been much more spotty than it had been the previous year. That his rookie year, he pretty much didn't miss on pay-per-view, whether it be Mania in Dallas or the Miz match in Tennessee, I think it was. The Roman match in Saudi, Seth Rollins, like that was like tremendous, right? But since then, it's more up and down, if you ask me. So we'll see how this Cody thing goes. But the best version of this is a spectacle. The best version of this is super heated. The best version of this is really fun. So I'm leaning towards thinking this is going to be quite fun. Cody Rhodes is just a very reliable professional wrestler, and we've seen this on WWE TV. Unless you're Shinsuke Nakamura, he can have a good match with you. So I think this is going to be pretty good.
Oh, poor Shinsuke, man. You know, um,
remarkably bad wrestler. You know,
He's not that bad. Like you're talking about him now, like he's not wrestling the future world champ or the world champ now. Like you don't have to be as harsh on him, you know.
It's not it's not even ill will. It's just reality.
He's not being forced on you as much now. Is what I'm trying to say, you know.
Sure. It's not offensive, but I think sometimes you just don't really got it.
Remarkably bad's crazy.
He's remarkably bad. If you can't have
so
a
remarkable about it.
Well, if you can't have a 3-star match with Cody Rhodes in an 18-minute stretch of time, then you're kind of remarkably bad. It's what it is, you know.
Oh man, he's past his best. I think it's a bit more fair to say, you know. But yeah, Cody Rhodes, man, like you, I think you outlined it pretty perfectly. Really, like this is very Cody Rhodes, you know, and even like as much as the segment that was just on SmackDown, for those of you that have already seen it, like it was very Cody Rhodes, you know, like the way that it went in the roundabout just so he could do that last promo that he cut on him. Yeah, it's just so Cody. And yeah, man, he's still just super over, bro. Like I think it was last week on SmackDown where I thought, like, I don't know, because obviously it's not the hashtag we want Cody. It's not the finish the story. Like, inevitably, understandably, the hype isn't, you know, Mania level, Mania season level. Obviously, understandably, you know, Dwayne's not involved. All these different factors. Of course, a lot of people would be looking kind of like, how is Cody going to remain like so popular, and is he going to remain as hot and stuff? And I think as of the 24th of May, we can confirm he is still pretty much just as hot. And as I was about to get to, like, last week on SmackDown, man, he came out and he just got like this monster pop, and I was like, there's still like, obviously, I'm not saying no, he's not going to come out. He's going to start coming out to no pop, but I was expecting like a slight adjustment, adjustment downwards. But
yeah,
I didn't. They're still fully into it, you know.
I didn't expect that at all because Cody Rhodes is undeniable. I said this,
No, just a slight, just a big pop, but not
the people.
Like it still like took me back a bit. You know what I mean? Like I was like, shit, like you know.
I'm not surprised because he's the biggest star in pro wrestling. That's a full-time wrestler.
He is.
The bottom line is this, Monty. These fans waited 2 years for him to become the guy, and they waited and were patient about it, and were going to be undenied in their support of Cody Rhodes, leading him to being the guy. And we know this because he lost to Roman in the biggest stage, and these fans were unfettered in their support for Cody Rhodes, so much so that when they were leaning towards doing Rock and Roman Reigns, and we were talking about how, man, you know, if Cody truly is the man, if he's truly undeniable, these fans will this into a different direction. And what the fuck happened? They chose Cody Rhodes over the Rock.
In the country.
Yes, to the dismay and surprise and shock of Brian Gewirtz, that clown, and Dwayne Johnson. Cody Rhodes was powered to being the guy to win the championship against Roman Reigns. And so am I surprised by this? Of course not. If fans are willing to stick by a guy for 2 years, they're not going to leave just when they become champion. And I don't know why people...
Yeah, not leave, just kind of...
Hold on. Pause. We're not done.
We're satisfied now. Because
here's the thing, Monty. That's the thing. Okay. When there's been so many guys over the last decade, right, who aren't truly the guy, but fans think they want to see them succeed because, oh, it's a nice moment, it's a nice thing, they deserve it, right? Those are the people that they get tired of when they win the championship, because truly they were never really meant to be in that position, but it's just something fans in the moment thought it would be nice to see. Respectfully, you know, and obviously a lot of these people got booked poorly as well, but like a Kofi Kingston, for example, or certain other people, yeah, the movement is when they're at their hottest, but once they win, it falls off. Because of this being the norm in WWE for a decade, people expected, you know, they're going to turn on Cody. They're going to turn on Cody after he wins. That's not going to happen because he's undisputably the guy of this company, and there's no candidate to take that spot from him in the immediate future. So this is the new normal.
People now, and not me. You know?
I am. This is a podcast, and I'm speaking to the people at this point. This is the new normal. Get used to it. Cody's going to come out to get big pops. He's going to have these heated title defenses. Most of them are going to be very good, and that is your new normal. The same way Kazuchika Okada was the standard, the guy, the flag bearer, the torch waver in New Japan Pro Wrestling in 2016 and 2017. And it wasn't one of those things where, okay, now it's this guy's turn. No, it's not anybody else's turn. He's holding the torch. That's the reality.
Yeah, they're still with him, you know. It's kind of my point. They're still with him. They're still with him. And I guess my later point I was going to get to is that Saudi Arabia, they're absolutely with him as well. So, he's already been in like 4 different countries since winning the belt. So yeah, man, they're doing a what's it called, the summer Super Japan tour, but they're doing at some point
Yes, they are.
as
Yes,
well.
they are.
So Cody
They're going to be
really is
doing the
taking that
woe.
belt all over the place, isn't he?
They're going to be doing the woe in Sumo Hall, Monty.
Hopefully he's as over as Triple H a few years ago in the, on Joe Hulbert told me about that, and I had to immediately seek it out. But yeah, okay. Predictions. I think it's pretty safe to say that Cody Rhodes is going to get a nice little successful defense here, River.
Yeah.
Do we think there's going to be like any angle or anything like that after the match?
There's going to be I think it's going to be one of those things where maybe someone in Logan Paul's entourage is going to come out. Cody Rhodes is going to give someone a crossroads.
We need speed. We always show speed again. He was on ESPN.
Yeah. Wait, today?
Earlier or yesterday.
Then it might not be him. He probably didn't make the trip to Saudi. I wish it was. I'd like to see Speed get a crossroads. I'd like to see that.
What's Jake doing? He's obviously he's in fight camp for the Mike Tyson fight, but who else? KSI. Trying to think of like the big names that are associated.
It's gonna be somebody in his entourage, in his posse. I don't know who it's gonna be this time around. I don't know who it could possibly be.
But yeah, man, Cody Rhodes, nice little defense there, and yeah, we'll see what's next for him. Obviously, King of the Ring. That probably will be his next feud, won't it? We'll go straight into that. So all right, so that's the title. What was that?
You said what's going to be next? What?
For Cody Rhodes, like King of the Ring, the
the King of the Ring winner.
Yeah, he's going to feud with the King of the Ring, isn't he? So,
unless a certain phenomenal man has something to say about this and wants to,
he's a desperate man at the minute. He ain't got much time either.
I'll watch that again in Scotland. I will happily watch that one again in Scotland.
Yeah, man. All right, so where do I want to go next? We'll go to the IC title match next. We've got Sami Zayn defending against Chad Gable and Bronson Reed. As mentioned earlier in one of the super chats, and as he touched on briefly, it's been built very nicely in stages. This feud to get to this match. As I'm not the biggest believer in Bronson Reed, but I'm not going to discredit the story that they've told with getting to this triple threat match, because I think it's been pretty well done. I do think he will be on the receiving end of a pin in this match though, and it will eventually lead to Sami versus Chad with higher stakes. A good build. I know you've kind of liked this a lot because you've touched on it quite a few times on the Raw review, obviously.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. Bronson Reed is essentially the guy that they use to buy them a month. And he is at the forefront while all the actual creative machinations are happening in the background. Chad Gable turned in Montreal in April. And, they could have rushed it and immediately had him go with the Creeds immediately and then face Sami blow off in a month or got it at Backlash, right? But they obviously wanted to play a long game here. And that long game will likely continue all the way until whatchamacallit. That long game is likely going to continue into Toronto. So how do we spread the time? How do we kind of pad this out? Well, they're going to pad it out productively, because here's what they're doing. They're transitioning Chad Gable away from the Alpha Academy members. They're making it an emotionally resonant story by centering it around Otis, who garners sympathy like a motherfucker. People love this guy. Otis, right? They love him. The little sad face he makes when he gets smacked in the face.
Because he's a likable guy, isn't he? So it's like, as soon as you're likable, you just get someone to treat you like a piece of shit, and the fans will get with him, man. It's almost like it's almost like faultless in professional wrestling. Obviously, the person has to be liked in the first place, and people do like Otis. So
Yeah, absolutely. And so because of that, Chad right now is in a transition phase with his character. He's obviously going to end up at the end point where he's going to be with the Creed brothers. They continue to sow seeds for that, but that's still not playing out just yet. Again, in the meantime, Bronson Reed is the physical force that they have to deal with. His chapter in this story will end tomorrow afternoon. Because here's what's going to happen. Exactly how I predicted it on Worldwide, Monty. Chad Gable pinned Sami Zayn on Monday. The reason he pinned Sami Zayn Monday is because Chad Gable will not defeat Sami Zayn for the championship on this pay-per-view. Sami Zayn is going to beat Bronson Reed. Now, following this, Chad Gable is going to do the heel thing of like, hey, that's cool. You never beat me. I beat you, though, so I'm like the number one contender, right? That's sound logic. One thing to look for is Otis going to play into why Chad doesn't win in Saudi. Very possible. Sami Zayn told Otis, listen, man, stop listening to him, start listening to them being the fans, right? Chad Gable put the pressure on Otis. He told him, I set up your flight plans for Saudi. You're coming with me. You're going to ensure that we win my title. So there's going to be a moment in this match where it's melodramatic and Otis is thinking about what to do and should I help Chad? And the crowd's going to go crazy. And there's a very decent chance that he actually ends up screwing Chad Gable. If he does that and Sammy beats Bronson Reed, you could do following this pay-per-view, Monty, you can have the Creed brothers whack Otis and fully set up the heel turn. And so you have heel Chad Gable with the Creed brothers. Otis is out of commission because he's been taken out. Chad then goes straight for Sami Zayn. Maybe he even goes over, wins the championship, and you have a summer program with Otis and Chad Gable. Something vaguely resembling this is likely what's going to happen. As for this match, should be fun, should be heated. Sami Zayn's going to be very over. I'm happy to see Chad Gable on a WWE pay-per-view. Long time coming. He has not been on one since WrestleMania. And Sami Zayn is going to retain his championship here.
Yeah, I tend to agree with a lot of what you just laid out there. I do think Sami Zayn is going to pin Bronson Reed and retain his title, and it will kind of, plant more seeds for the Sami and Chad Gable story. So I'm with you on that one. Lock that prediction in. Yeah, man, good stuff. Should be a good match as well. To be honest, it should be a good match because I'm not the biggest fan of multi-man single matches like triple threats, fatal four ways. I kind of hate them, but it also is very heavily reliant on the talent, like any match, I think with Sami, with Chad, the dynamic that Bronson brings with being the big man, that can kind of dominate both of them in parts of the match when it's needed. I have a lot of faith in how Sami puts his matches together. I think he's a genius, man. So
yeah,
a lot of it is stemming from that. So yeah, man. All right, women's world title match. Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan kind of got it's calmed down quite a bit now, quite substantially, but there was kind of like a groundswell of people, wanting Liv to get the world title after Rhea Ripley went out injured because, of course, she was involved in the angle just before she announced that she was injured, and of course, there's a lot of story with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley and injuries and stuff that you can get into with that. However, WWE eventually went with, I guess it's pretty fair to say, the safe option with Becky Lynch winning the vacant title. So I guess naturally, it's led to this Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan feud. And like I said, kind of the groundswell and like demand that Liv had like a month or so ago, I'm not personally feeling it's there right now. She obviously still has a lot of support. It's Liv Morgan. People just really like her, But yeah, I think, I think there's less chance of her going over here than there was, of her winning the, the Battle Royal that they did. So I think Becky retains it.
Down. It's gone down because her subsequent performances on TV have been really poor. She has not had a good month. She's not had a good month. Her there hasn't been a single good promo cut from her in the last few months. Sorry, in the last month. I don't think any of the segments have really done her any favors, to be honest. And I think the worst aspects of her as a performer have been just exposed too much. You know, she's not somebody I would give a live mic to, especially in this version of her character. And so it's been a lot of just really, really bad promo trains involving her and Becky Lynch, and it's resulted in a really janky build, to be honest with you. So if there's any direct reason for why the Liv Morgan clamor for her as world champion has gone down, I think a lot of it can straight up be pointed to the performances just not being there. Regarding this match, it's weird because I kind of like thought there's a decent chance Liv wins. And I think there still is a decent chance she wins because obviously you'd think they might want to go back to Rhea Ripley versus her, maybe.
Yeah, see, he's laid out there
Right.
for like you said, it's not a given.
However,
No.
there's also a part of me that thinks about how Lyra's in the Queen of the Ring finals and the winner gets a championship match, and at SummerSlam, and to me, Lyra versus Becky for the championship at SummerSlam, given how Lyra's already been booked and presented, does feel like a match I'd like to see at that show and a match that would deserve that stage.
I know, but another person in that final, brother.
There is another person in that final. There's another person in that final, and
we had a stare down with a champion earlier on tonight. You know,
yeah. We'll see. Regarding this match, I think it's a toss-up because Becky, to my knowledge, is not re-signed yet. And I think we all expect her to re-sign, but it's a couple weeks. And so are they going to let her just retain with the deal that needs to be done in 2 weeks, or else she's a free agent?
It must already be agreed, and like if I
I'd
to not guess,
so.
I have no this isn't coming from sources or anything like that. You know that I'll preface it if it is from sources or a report, but I genuinely do believe that it's like agreed but not signed, and I think that was kind of the idea with Drew for the longest time as well, and probably Damian Priest as well for a hot minute. Just like they kind of agree, but it's like anything, like any sport. It's like you can agree terms and you can agree that something's going to happen, but there's legalities and contracts and those things
Absolutely.
take a minute,
Absolutely.
So, and then when the first draft of the contract's done, it's like everyone has to look at it and be like, well, hold on, let's change X, Y, and Z. Like it's just a process,
For sure.
But, like you said, I don't think anyone's actually expecting Becky's going to leave. I'd be even surprised if she went into free agency, So.
Yeah, I guess we'll see there. But as for this match, I think this is a toss-up, to be honest with you. I think it's a genuine toss-up. I think out of all the matches on this card, this is the one where the result is the most.
This is a prediction show with us, so I've got to put the gun to your head. You got to pick one. I'll go with the other.
The Queen of the Ring results muddy this, but
well, who do you? Well, it's like who you got to predict who. You know what I mean? You got to do 2 in 1 here, but only actually give me the one answer, if that makes sense.
You know what? I'm going to think that they're going to zig and zag on this show. So I'm going to just say that I'm going to say Becky retains. I'm going to go with the safe thing.
I'll lock in Liv Morgan. I'll lock in Liv Morgan. Maybe, I guess my thinking for that would be maybe they locked in because I remember saying at the time, like,
did Monty freeze for anybody? Is that just me? Are you back?
Maybe, I don't know.
Are you back?
I am, I think.
Cool, sweet.
Only you would know.
Yes, you're back.
Yeah, maybe. I guess my thinking behind locking in Liv Morgan would be maybe they made the decision when they put the belt on Becky, But I don't know. I'm kind of with you where it's a bit of a toss-up. I wouldn't be surprised if either woman won. So I guess my prediction is Liv Morgan.
All right, the tournament finals.
Yeah, that's where we got to. What one do you want to start with, King or Queen?
I have less to. Let's do Queen.
All right. So I guess spoiler alert: if you haven't watched SmackDown and don't want to know the the results of the semi-final matches that took place tonight on SmackDown, because we are going to preview now the actual finals of both tournaments that will be taking place tomorrow. Starting with Nia Jax versus Laura Valkyria, Queen of the Ring tournament final. Nia Jax was successful in defeating the ace of the universe, Bianca Belair. Um, Bianca Belair did some cool shit in that match, though. I have to say, with her kayfabe hurt knee as well. She did a nice power bomb, a proper power bomb as well. Like you see when some of the women like power bomb, like Piper or Nia Jax, and like they get them out of the corner. It's more kind of they guide them on their way down. Whereas like
Yes.
Bianca fully like took a good few steps with Nia, like
Wow.
hoisted her up, came down with it. Like she's an animal, man. Bianca's different, but she
Generational.
was no match for the irresistible force of Nia Jax.
Mm.
We're coming for the
Yeah,
crown, bro.
I figured Nia was winning this because Lyra came out on the other side, and they weren't going to do Lyra versus Bianca. I knew it was going to be Lyra working from underneath, and so of course then the matchup is going to be Nia, and so then that tells you who's winning this tournament. And I think it'd be cool if Lyra had her Keiji Muto versus Vader moment G1, where she just beats the big person. I don't think that's happening though, because here's the thing: Nia beat Jade. And yeah, it was via DQ, but Jade's gonna have to get her heat back, and I don't think it's gonna be as effective if she gets her heat back on a Nia Jax that already just lost to somebody. Uh, Unless depending on how that's executed, but if Nia is just strong and protected and remains strong and protected, and she beats, she beat Jade, she beat Bianca, then she runs through Lyra in the final. She's the queen of the ring. She's unstoppable. She's the irresistible force, and then Jade can beat her. Then it feels more like an accomplishment, like an achievement. But so for those reasons, and for the fact that Queen of the Ring feels like something that Nia would do well on TV bragging about. I'm gonna I'm gonna say that Nia
She
Jax.
deserves it, man. Like, bro, when she came back, either I was fired up because it's just like Nia pops me,
Correct.
But like, even with me popping for Nia getting re-signed and coming back, and just WWE kind of having someone like Nia on the roster, um, even still, I think she's like over exceeded my expectations. She's had multiple good showings. I think she's been a very good part of the roster and the division. She's been a good heel for baby faces to come up against. She's been a good heel that you can credibly beat good baby faces with. She's a heel that you can credibly put in something like this, a Queen of the Ring final, potentially even win it. Um, I think she's been great, man. And yeah, bro, I was calling for her to win that battle royal. So
And you know what? It works in a sense that I wouldn't necessarily give Nia a world title at this point, but she's worked hard and had a successful enough return that she deserves something. The same way that I think LA Knight deserves the US belt. I don't think the stage is set right now to ever give LA Knight a world title in the foreseeable upcoming future with the way things are set up. But again, he deserves a big win too for how he's gotten so over. So his big accomplishment being a SummerSlam US title win, and Nia's big thing being a Queen of the Ring tournament win, it works. So yeah,
it does,
sure,
man.
sure.
Yeah, I've got Noah winning this one.
Yep. Finals of the
Yeah,
men.
yeah, man. All right, we've got 5 minutes before the top of the hour. We're going to talk about the men's King of the Ring final. Randy Orton got the job done. Randy Orton advances to the King of the Ring final after beating the animalistic Tamatonga, who has started making weird noises and crawling around over the past couple of weeks. So he's Randy did well to come out of this alive and advance it, but and he will be
Yeah.
facing Gunther, who you was very relieved to beat Jey
Yes.
Uso on
Yes, I
Monday.
was.
So that's a
That was.
very, very worldwide pilled final that we have in the
Yes, it
King of
is.
the Ring.
This match is going to be great. Before Triple H made the SummerSlam announcement, I was leaning Gunther. I thought
Hmm.
I thought it'd be a tough one, but Gunther would ultimately win. Uh, it's kind of muddied now because I feel like Cody does feel like a clear direction for a big match for
Had
Cody Rhodes to
the
do.
face interaction backstage earlier as well.
Yeah, I saw that on social media. So because of that, it does appear now that Randy's going to beat Gunther, which is going to be a little tough. I would have liked Gunther to get that win because he needs that main event victory to validate himself. He couldn't get it over Brock Lesnar because of Brock's own issues. And so what's going to be that next big thing for him? And it's just gonna be a little tough. I think the match is gonna be great. Randy's gonna sell the back. Randy's gonna sell his knee. Gunther's gonna beat his
He's
ass.
gonna
The crowd is gonna be
sell.
so.
He's just gonna sell for 20 minutes.
Gunther's just gonna literally have a really long heat segment on Randy, and because he's Gunther, it's gonna be so compelling. And because it's Randy, the crowd's gonna be so into him, just kind of fighting back. He's gonna do his comeback. It's gonna be very exciting, and then you'll get some great near falls.
I'm fired up.
The best version of this is genuinely one of the best Randy matches ever. And I think even like the Chat GPT version of this match in Saudi is still like quite fun. So I'm looking forward to this as a match. My prediction, because of the setup, is that Randy wins and goes on to face Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam.
Yeah. I'm going with Gunther. I don't. You want to hear Randy Orton's been selling his knee a lot. He's just wrestled. Like, I don't think Hunter, our the leader of the ship of WWE's Crave, is going to pin a fully fit, on form Gunther with a busted leg in kayfabe, beat up, just wrestled the night before Randy Orton. I think I could see something happening where I think that they're going to do some tag stuff with KO, man. They're going to do some tag stuff with KO on the Bloodline. I think that might factor into it. KO is in Saudi, so we'll see how kind of that plays out. And like I said, my main thinking behind thinking Gunther's going to win this is I thought he was the favourite for it from the start, to be honest, and then now looking at it they've been telling this story with Randy's knee for a reason, so it's
they have. This is going to be a toss-up. This is another toss-up.
It's good though. It's a good toss-up.
I'll tell you what. I'd be tempted to main event the show with this. I think Cody Logan main events, but I'd be tempted to main event with this because the result is more in doubt with this match than it is with Cody Logan.
I'd main event with this as well. 100%.
Yeah, I'd close with this matchup, to be completely honest with
you. Yeah, because it's like I don't know where I'd put it otherwise. It's one of those things. It's like Cody and Logan could easily be the opener, easily.
I think Sammy's opening to get the big Saudi pop.
Yeah, that could easily open as well. Whereas like you can't open with Randy and Gunther. I don't think, bro. Like, you can't. I think if you put it in the middle of the show, I think most matches will struggle to go after it. Even Cody versus Logan would lose some shine. Like, people will still be into it, of course, because it's a WWE audience and it's fucking Cody Rhodes, for fuck's sake. But it will just take a little shine off it if they have to follow what I'm suspecting to be an absolute masterclass by Gunther and Randy.
Yeah, I think Randy will be the Saudi crowd's main event, like in terms of what they're waiting for to really conserve their energy for. So I would put this as last. We'll see what order they end up deciding, but yeah, this is a toss-up. This is really a toss-up. Randy doesn't, in my opinion, need to win this to get the Cody match at SummerSlam. He's so established.
Of course not.
He's so established that he can just kind of find his way over the course of these next few months. Whereas Gunther, I think it would really help him. So
Randy could show up one week and just be like, I want number 15.
Right. Now they'll probably do more than that, but like he could feasibly just say that,
Yeah, he could. It's Randy Orton.
Right. So for all those reasons, I hope Gunther still ends up being the one to win this. But I have a feeling Randy wins, to be completely honest with you. Hopefully I'm wrong.
I can't lose. With this one. It's beautiful, a good final,
Absolutely.
I don't think I can really lose with the Queen of the Ring final either, because big fan of Laura, but Nia Jax is that's an agenda I'm pushing right now, I guess that's our predictions and preview then. I locked in Gunther, you locked in Randy. There's one other match. Jade and Bianca will be defending the tag titles versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. I think it goes without saying that we think Jade and Bianca are going to successfully retain here. So yeah, man, it should be a good show. Short card, some strong matches, especially with the King of the Ring final going not the Tamatonga Jey Uso way. Nothing against them, love them both, but it's not Gunther versus Randy, is it?
No.
So yeah, man, a couple of super chats and we'll let Ibu go to work. That's why we've kept it short here today, folks. But we will be back in about an hour with the Double or Nothing preview with Hulbert and Charlie. Jacob Donnelly, $2. King Orton versus Cody at SummerSlam. He's going to end world hunger. Listen, Cody versus Gunther could do the same, bro. You know?
Absolutely.
Jarvie499, appreciate you as always. Main event in front of 14,000 in Toronto at Heatwave. Roxy and Julia in a 20-minute stiff-ass fight, nearing a 4.75 star. Also, Lola Vice is going to be a star. Yeah, Lola Vice is trending pretty positively. The angle she did with Shayna was a bit weird on Tuesday. You know, a lot of twerking going on there. But, yeah, man, she should be a pretty big star. Julia and Roxanne should be a very, very good first showing for Judy if that is the direction. Yeah, man.
Yeah. That I'm looking for the match. 400 quarters is a bit of a stretch, but I do think that could be really, really good. Yeah.
Ryan, £4.99, appreciate you. CM Punk is Cody's biggest rival from the babyface side. He matches him in every box office metric. Ibu, how is Punk's relationship with Drew McIntyre and Triple H?
His relationship with Drew is purely professional. It's one of those things where he sees Drew as an equal. He sees him as someone who's vastly improved from the Drew McIntyre that he left when he first left WWE, which is needless to say. And as for Triple H, they're on the same page in the sense that Punk is comfortable with voicing when he doesn't think something is a great idea. And they're just kind of on the same page. It's one of those things. They had to kind of be on the same page for Punk to come back. They had a come to Jesus long conversation addressing their issues in the past. And now that they kind of got past it, again, it's business. Triple H is the play caller. Punk is willing to go with the plays. He's trying to be a consummate professional that just kind of goes with what they're asking of him. But again, he's comfortable enough to just voice when he thinks they should go left when they're maybe thinking about going right on various ideas.
Yeah, as far as Punk being Cody's biggest rival from a babyface side, yeah, absolutely. Because Punk he's just such a big star. Whether he's involved or not, injured or not, it's kind of crazy. He's like staying power in that sense.
Once he's healthy, he's going to be like the guy that opens Monday Night Raw, every week.
Considering he's not been back in WWE for very long in terms of like being able to like wrestle matches and stuff like that, he's already had like. I wouldn't say like iconic or classics, but like he's had 3 like amazing segments already.
Yes,
at least 3.
That
so,
Chicago
like,
one with Drew and Seth Rollins was fantastic.
The one with just Seth. There was one with just Seth, and there was the one with Cody. The one with Cody like might be the best thing I've seen all year.
That was as good of a promo go home segment as you could get. That one was great. The one with Seth was great. The one in Chicago with Drew and Seth was great. His promo about his injury where he talked about his friend's cancer was fantastic. The one at the draft where he's doing cat and mouse with Drew McIntyre was a lot of fun. It's already been a fun run when it comes to producing quality television.
Yeah. Hopefully he can stay fit when he does eventually get back. We assume he'll be ready for Clash at the Castle. Even if it is just a cost Drew again, but we'll see. Ryan 199, appreciate you again. When Punk versus Seth happens, Seth will be the heel. Oh, I don't know, man. I think you underestimate CM Punk's ability to be a prick. I'm not sure with the dynamic that they have as 2 individuals feuding that it could work that way around. Like Seth being the hit. I don't know, man. Like, I know with what they've built on so far, I don't think you could really do it. Well, you could do it, obviously, and it'd be a big deal with 2 huge stars, but I don't think it would be like optimal by any means. Yeah. Dussey Rhodes 499. So how many weeks before Triple H fumbles Andrade tweets are valid?
I would say that we need to get out of this Andrade is coming soon to SmackDown vignette thing and set a clear direction upon his return relatively soon. When I see him again on TV, it should not just be the typical reset like he just beats a loser in the match. I would like his next appearance to very clearly point me in a direction of some kind, and ideally a direction that leads to, when I look at Andrade, I see someone who could be a Cody title challenger. We'll see. I'd like him to state a goal when he comes back, like a clear goal of something he wants and a direction, and I'd like that to be relatively soon after this pay-per-view.
All right, so before we get out of here, quick fantasy booking question.
Okay.
Gun to your head.
Okay.
Andrade's first feud after this. Obviously, I know he's not on the show, but after this pay-per-view tomorrow.
What do I think it's going to be?
Who would you book it? Who would you book? He's on SmackDown.
Okay.
So obviously, that's the only limitation I'm going to put on. He's on SmackDown.
I do either Styles or Cody.
Styles could be interesting with the mode that he's in storytelling wise, but he has just lost twice.
Yeah, but this could be the spiral. This could be the big setback that makes AJ contemplate retirement.
Yeah. Then that gets Andrade closer to Cody. As you mentioned, you can see Andrade as a future. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at you. All right, we're going to get out of there. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for sending a few super chats that we got. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already on your way out. It helps us a lot, especially obviously the subscriptions. It goes without saying. But yeah, if you're watching this on catch up, then please leave a comment. And actually, leave a comment when we're in the stream as well, because it all helps. We appreciate the support. Appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll be back in about just under an hour for the AEW Double or Nothing preview and prediction show. We'll probably be able to go a bit longer on that one because Ibu hasn't got to run to work on that show.
That card is also twice as big.
Exactly. So yeah, Joe and Charlie will be leading that show there. I know you guys love them, so hope you enjoy that, and hopefully see you guys in about an hour. Peace.